Hello, this is Roy from the Jesters Court podcast, the host, and today we are with Steele, aka Hayden,
Up.
and today we have a guest, Big Homie C, aka CJ.
You're
He has last episode's podcast guest little brother, and today we will be going in on about childhood movies, TV shows, and maybe some other childhood stories and song and like um, music stuff. Um,
More or less discussion about our childhood.
oh yeah, for sure. Uh, if you guys could pick, let's say like one show, it could be like a cartoon, anime, like live action kind of like reality show, from from your childhood, which would you think is your favorite?
That is a hard one, honestly.
yeah, that's a banger. That's a banger. Oh god.
I know
Oh my
for
goodness. I have to reach down to my duffel bag of freaking greatness. Oh god.
I know for at least me, and like I am kind of an obvious kind of basic choice. I really like either Samurai Jack and or Avatar: Last Airbender. Those are my two kind of comfort shows. I really like them. I have fond memories of both of them.
You know what? You know what? Those are good picks. I would say, just avoiding the ones you picked. I agree with Avatar. I have not watched Samurai Jack, but I agree with Avatar. I would say Ben 10, the original Ben 10.
Original Pendant's really good. It, honestly, a really sick intro too. You, you know what I found out the other day that kind of like threw me for a loop in a way because I
What's
was
that?
actually I was looking up Samurai Jack stuff. I Will I Am was the person that sang the Samurai Jack opening, like for like the Black Eyed Peas. Will I Am.
Oh,
I
did
thought,
he?
yeah, I thought it was kind of crazy because I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I was like, man, it is a banger opening, in my personal opinion. And I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. And I really like Will I Am. He's a really good artist.
He is a pretty good artist. I don't know a song off the top of my head. I don't think I've listened to him in like a minute.
Oh no, yeah,
Hold
it's
on. Let me.
like I don't listen to like I haven't listened to like
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas in a while. I think the last song of Black Eyed Peas I've heard was probably like that one song from like early 2000s, like 2009 2010s. I can't remember what even the name of it is.
Okay, yeah, okay. Just looking up a couple of songs, everything like I
Yeah.
it was dumb of me to be like, I don't remember. I don't know any song off the top of my head. Like there's a lot of songs that he has. Like a lot that I recognize.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um
Fun
my,
Sorry, go ahead.
fact, since I looked this up real quick, just real quick, I looked this up. Do you know he is the one that sung that one song in Madagascar 2, the Big and Chunky song?
I didn't know that. That's crazy. I didn't know that either.
yeah.
I popped up on his song list, and that hit me for a loop.
um, were you able to find or like able to think of a show that you think is probably one like at least one like okay if it makes it easier like to narrow it down like it doesn't have to be your absolute favorite, it can be like in your favorites if you need to.
Yeah, yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Um
OG or
yeah.
like
OG.
that's
OG.
fair. OG's really good. It has a really cool opening. A lot of cool characters. My favorite characters personally is probably I love Seto Kaiba a lot. Seto Kaiba is awesome. He's fucking cool
Did
as
you
hell.
say favorite TV show? Or did you say favorite cartoon?
I said favorite. It could be. I said favorite like TV show from childhood. It can be like, and I said like cartoon, anime, reality, like sitcom, anything really.
I'm not sure if it's a TV show, just because most of the stuff I watched it was on VHS, and it was those like little maybe episode packs, I guess. And that was Thomas the Tank Engine.
He was that's very base. That's very base, Hayden.
OG Thomas the Tank Engine was different, bro.
It was
You
crazy.
got Alec Baldwin narrating it. You got George Carlin narrating it.
That was
Ringo Starr.
That was Alec Baldwin.
He only did it after I think the movie.
Okay.
He did like it for like a. He did like a spree of episodes, I think. But I never was able to watch it like on TV. TV. I mean, it was always on VHSs for me.
No, I got you.
since you guys said two childhood shows,
Mm-hmm.
I had to pick I choose a live action one, which is actually pretty crazy, and that is
That's cool.
Big Time Rush.
Oh, Big Time Rush is good. That's during that was during that's really sick. Really sick music. It had a really good opening. That was during that like kind of like that big like era of like even though like Nickelodeon, like a lot of Nickelodeon, all people think of cartoons, but like when it comes to Nickelodeon, like a lot of their live action stuff slaps. Granted,
For,
we'll
for
not talk about the
sure.
Dan Schneider part of all that stuff because that stuff's a bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
sorry, go ahead.
it was between it was mainly Big Time Rush, and then soon as me and my brothers basically discovered iCarly, basically we jumped onto that as well. So
Oh
it
yeah,
was just those two back to back was like the premiere of what it was like as a live action like TV show.
I think Bug
But
Time Rush was technically later. I think because I
it
think it
was
was Drake and Josh, then iCarly, and then I don't know like the order because there were so
Big Time
many
Rush.
like
Big Time Rush came out in like the era of like Victorious, I think, in that era.
yeah. Which if I remember correctly, I think the band is like still together. I
Yeah, they're still
think.
together. They did
what
a show recently.
Big Time Rush?
Yeah, they still
Yeah, the
doing live
band still
shows.
makes music. I think.
Yeah, they're still together. I think like I'm not mistaken, but 3 years ago they just released a new album, which is
Not really.
crazy. Believe and if I'm not mistaken, they're all actually on tour right now. If I'm not mistaken,
They might be. It was
um,
only 2 years later because I just looked it up. Our Carly came out in 2007 and Big Time Rush came out in 2009.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's crazy.
It's crazy to look up where like when things could come out because like not to bring like games into this because like you're not going to like because I know some episodes purely focus on like child TV shows and movies and shit. I was like I looked it up the other day. Shrek 4. I thought Shrek 4 came out way later than what it did. It came out during the same time. I think it came out before Halo Reach came out, and I thought for the longest time I thought Halo Reach came out before Shrek 4, but no, it came out after Shrek 4. I was like, that's kind of crazy.
What's really funny, I did not know there was Shrek 4.
What? It's Shrek 4 ever
Oh,
after.
because I remember watching the first three,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
that was it. Literally, I did not know there was like a fourth one. I know there was like
Mhm.
Christmas specials and all that stuff, but I did not know there was actually a fourth one.
Oh no, yeah.
That's
It wasn't too great. The third one wasn't alright. The third one was okay in my opinion. The second one, of course, that's gonna be like you go to the internet and everything like that, and still, in my opinion as well, is definitely the best Shrek movie. Is the first, as the second and first one for sure.
yeah. I love the first one. I mean I watched it probably over 100 times,
Oh no,
and
that's a good movie.
I will literally still watch it to this day and literally not go to sleep because what Donkey does to the dragon and then what he says during his just hilarious.
Oh no, it's good. I think right now actually, uh, we went to go see a movie recently. I forget what movie it was, but I know currently right now in up at Cinemark, up or like wherever they do like Fathom events, they're showing the 20th anniversary of Shrek 2, and they're showing Shrek 2 in theaters at the moment, which is kind of cool in my opinion at least. That they're like bringing back these like older movies and they're showing them in theaters again.
Yeah, Fathom Events is cool when you get to like rewatch some of those older movies in theaters sometimes.
Okay, I'm kind of excited for it because I know they're going to bring out the Never Ending Story in July from what you told me, and I'm
Oh
I'm excited
yeah.
for that. That is like one of my peak childhood movies, and that's like that is, I know. But before we started this, I know CJ, you said something about like naming boomer stuff. Never Ending Story is a boomer movie. If I were ever probably even to say, isn't it? It's like from the '80s, isn't it?
Hold on, I'll look it up.
before I truly crash and burn myself on this one, because it definitely is older.
Yeah, 1984.
That's what I thought.
I think I probably watched it probably
Yeah.
twice in my lifetime.
It's a good
I
movie.
think it's re-releasing on its anniversary as well because it's July 20th
Oh, really?
is when it's released.
That's crazy. That's really crazy.
The guy that directed it was called Wolfgang Peterson.
One way to come out, buddy. Call yourself Wolfgang Pearson.
It's like Wolfgang Mozart.
Right.
He's a very famous musician. As a lot of people know, probably.
Right.
Um. So yeah, so we got like with me, you got Samurai Jack, and then like with Hayden, of course, Hayden agreed with me and said like Avatar: Last Airbender, and you said Yu-Gi-Oh. If you were like, okay, so in Yu-Gi-Oh, so I know because I know you and Chris are probably like the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh fans I think in our entire like group area.
It's
Who is like probably your favorite character from like all of Yu-Gi-Oh, if you were to say?
all of Yu-Gi-Oh. Goodness. Okay, so
Take your time. It's
like
alright.
like collectively, like 1 through 5, all of them.
Yeah, you can name like let's say if you could if you want to you can name like a favorite character from each 1 through 5, or if you just want to do like a collective and just name one character you like out of all of it.
Yeah, that okay. I'm gonna do that. For the original Yu-Gi-Oh, I like um I like Joey Wheeler because
Oh, Jay Will is good.
not only because because he's underrated, underappreciated. He is
He's goaded.
the he's really good.
Oh yeah.
And
His whole entire
um
reasoning to like get win was pretty good because he needed to get the surgery for his sister and shit.
I'm gonna say another character from the original Yu-Gi-Oh. And that um is Pegasus.
Pegasus is cool. Pegasus, Maximilian Pegasus, he was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty funny guy. So Yugi, my boy.
Yes, yes. Kaba, my boy.
Kaiba,
Um,
my boy.
then 5Ds. I like Jack Atlas.
Jack House is pretty cool.
Um, and then if we go to GX, ooh, GX. Who who's the main person on that? What's his name? Like Jaden? No. What's his name? Jaden?
For which one is it?
GX?
This is the main character.
Yeah.
Uh,
What was the main character? Was it Jaden? Like something like
yeah, it
that?
was Jaden Yuki.
Yeah. He's the only person that I liked from the whole entire GX thing because he has Riz all the time. Uh,
It's based.
um,
Based.
and, and then my fifth one, I'm just gonna say this right now. I like I love Grandpa.
Oh,
I like the
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Yuki's grandpa.
Yes, yes, I
It's
love
pretty cool.
him so much because just like how you guys with Avatar: The Last Airbender, he reminds me of Uncle Iroh so
Oh, Uncle Iroh
much.
goated. Most goated character ever, in my opinion. Uncle Iroh is so awesome.
It's crazy.
No, I got you. I got you.
And as in Yu-Gi-Oh, me, Chris, my dad, and my other brother,
Oh, Bobby.
yeah,
I
um,
got you.
collectively, we have probably good 4,000 to 5,000 cards.
Shoo,
Um,
damn.
in totality, like 3 full boxes.
Really?
Because I watched because my dad, of course, he was born in 1972. So
Yeah. I gotcha. I
all this
gotcha.
time, like he'll see me, Chris,
Mhm.
and Bob watching Yu-Gi-Oh, and we'll actually look over and question my dad if he actually watched it. And my dad said, like, "What? Yu-Gi-Oh, man? I grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh," and he was like, "I used to play like the actual card game." And that's how the cards came into our household, was us going to our local Walmart, and we would
Mhm.
literally buy tins, the original, like those like 20, like the 20 card like deck type things in the packet. Like, it was so good. And we would do like tournament style, and I would lose like 99% of it. And yeah, like it was so good. And I lost a lot of decks through washing machines, through me throwing the cards in the trash can for some reason because I couldn't win. It was it was horrendous, but I still love Yu-Gi-Oh to this day.
I gotcha. You know, I'd say that like they're going off of like kind of like that. There's nothing better, in my opinion, like especially if, like from like childhood memories, of course, as like going to Walmart or some like maybe like Toys R Us, Kroger, or wherever store, and buying like a pack like of it like a single booster pack of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards, and then like open them. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah,
it gives it sort of like that like really nostalgia feel.
Well, I
and
will be honest. I never got into Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic
Well,
until
that's
like
fair.
the last 5, maybe 10 years.
Oh, I never really like I got into, I like Pokemon a lot, like as a kid, of course.
I
And
mean,
then I never played the game. I just collected the cards. I'll be honest. Like I never played the game too much.
I, I guess I technically did, but my like extent was like I would buy a booster pack, be like, oh hey, these Pokemon are cool, and then I would immediately just forget they ever existed because I never played any of the games either. My first like actual Pokemon game that I played all the way through was Black or White 1 or 2. I forget which one. I think it was White 2 or White 1. Because Reshiram was the legendary. But
which
I just never was into that, and it's like I even don't even really get into Bakugan either. You know.
What Bakugan was awesome.
I mean, I
I
knew
fucking
of it.
love
Like
that
back,
shit.
like I guess out of all the animes, you know how like people grow up and they're like, oh yeah, I watched Dragon Ball, oh I watched Pokemon, oh I watched Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like I watched Bakugan, and then I didn't even collect anything from it. I just was like, oh hey, this is cool, and I didn't even know it was happening like 80% of the time.
oh, all right. So I want to say this right now. I never watched Pokemon. I used to have
Mhm.
Pokemon cards,
Yeah.
and it was just our friends back when we me and my family used to live in Cleveland,
Mhm.
born and raised. And I and well, what I usually do is just like, oh, we got these cards laying around, but we'll never play them. It's just there. And I never watched Pokemon. I never played Pokemon. Um,
Yeah.
I've seen Chris watch Pokemon, and I've never seen a man like crying.
It
Like,
hits. It hits. Pokemon hits in certain episodes. I'll
and
say.
and I always pick on him because of it, because I'm just like, this man doesn't show any emotion until legit that happened.
I tell you what,
um,
it hits though. Like some of those episodes of Pokemon can hit. Like the Bye Bye Butterfree episode is definitely one of the most infamous ones. That's like really sad.
Magic. Okay, I start like learning a little bit of Magic like probably good like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
I know it sounds like recent, and it's because Yu-Gi-Oh is so like, I want to say old, but so like,
Oh yeah, it's from like the
I,
'90s.
yeah, like
Also,
like
Magic though.
so it's like a collector's item where you don't play, you just collect it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Pokemon. Like you could play the games, yeah, you could collect them, but you won't necessarily play it. Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
then because nowadays lots of people are playing Magic,
No,
which
yeah, that's been out, and that's also been out for a while too. I think I think it also started like in the '90s, like early 2000s.
yeah,
It was crazy.
and fun fact about my dad, he's max level in Magic the Gathering, like the PC version of it.
Nice. That's cool.
He like I remember him like telling me like, oh, we should all like we used to have like decks and all that stuff, but
Hmm.
we tried to play it. I couldn't do it because it was just too much, and like it wasn't simplistic like how Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Did
But
you just say Magic the Gathering is more complicated than Yu-Gi-Oh,
I'll
and
say
that
this.
Yu-Gi-Oh is simplistic? Like, what are you on, bro? Like,
yes,
you look at a Magic the Gathering card, it has like this does this, this does that. Here's a word that you don't know. Here's the explanation. Yu-Gi-Oh is
I
like here's a paragraph just telling you what the card,
I'll say
like just the
I
attack of the card. This doesn't even go into the defense. You have to flip the card over just to see the defense side.
I'll say this. I'll say this. OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic is probably more complicated than that. But when you get to later Yu-Gi-Oh! With the like the synchro summons and the pendulum shit and everything like that, I'll say yeah, definitely Yu-Gi-Oh! Gets a little more complicated than Magic in my opinion.
yeah. So whenever like the pendulums like happen, that's when everything was a little bit more challenging. But
Oh yeah.
if you were in my shoes and like playing Yu-Gi-Oh, pretty much every single day, every weekend, weekday, after school, whatnot,
Hmm.
the paragraphs doesn't even turn to paragraphs. You can literally activate a trap card and literally look at your opponent and literally tell them what the card does.
Oh yeah, that's just all memorization and stuff like that for sure.
Yes, that's how it is. But when it comes to Magic, you have to do so much stuff. It's crazy.
It's a lot. It's a lot more numbers than Magic, I think, in my opinion at least. But when it comes to kind of like that, where it's like I didn't know synchros and um pendulums existed until probably a couple years back when I played the PC game with Tyler and he pulled out a pendulum deck and I was like, what is this fucking shit? And I was trying to find it with my dark magician deck from like OG.
Yeah. And when I was ranking the my favorite like characters from Yu-Gi-Oh, I left out Zexal and like Arc V or whatever it's called.
Oh,
The main reason why I left out Zexal because literally Zexal ruined my time. Literally, when I first watched it, that's when I stopped watching like cartoons, anime, period. Because everything was legit, was just like, okay, what is this guy? Oh, this guy, he looks like a isekai freaking reference. Oh, that's cool. What does he do? Oh wait, he has all these cards that literally doesn't make sense to be in a Yu-Gi-Oh. It's crazy.
oh yeah.
Like the links, like I didn't understand what the link is. Where you can link cards into to make the thing. Like I was like, why? And synchros, I knew synchros because I watched 5Ds. I knew about fusions and all that, but those out of the picture.
Mhm, mhm.
And
My point still stands. I think Magic is easier than Yu-Gi-Oh. Bro, I just a final statement on that.
it's all opinion based.
Oh yeah, it definitely
Um,
is.
because I can legit say Pokemon is the hardest thing to ever play, and legit, you guys be like, wait, it's the easiest thing, but I never played it. So how would I know?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. That's like yeah, like I said, like you said, it's definitely all opinion based for sure. It just all depends on like what you like. People kind of just like grow up with in a way, to where like even now, I'll say like I don't really understand how to play the Pokemon card game fully. Like I have had more, I have more Pokemon cards, or have had probably more experience collecting Pokemon cards than I ever had Magic. But
Do you know how
during this,
many like,
hmm,
Magic cards, Pokemon cards that you collected over the years?
I probably have like a few binders full, of, like it somewhere in a closet. I used to have like a binder full of a lot of legendaries, but it got stolen a long time ago.
Ah,
Um, but when it comes to like Magic, of course, like I didn't start getting into Magic until like junior senior of high school, and then like whenever college started, I rooted with like with one of my friend Jacob, and him and a couple few other buddies of ours were like all really big into Magic, and then I delved deep into Magic a lot then, and that's where I kind of gained my love because I remember playing Magic in high school. I didn't understand what the fuck I was doing. I was like, I think my first deck I ever got, and Hayden, I think you know, because like the first deck I ever got was that Sandra deck I have, like the mono red Sandra deck. That was like I got that deck in like a pre-deck booster thing that you can buy like
Um,
the pre-built decks. I bought that
yeah,
at Target like a long time ago when going to my friend Wyatt's house because they all played Magic, and I was like, I'll get a Magic deck. And I'll try to learn how to play Magic. And I was like, this stuff's kind of boring. But then I slowly got into it, and then I from what then I built up that Sandra deck a lot from like what it was then to like it is now, where it's like a lot more stuff into it.
yeah. My first time playing Magic is I started collecting cards around the time we were hanging out at that one gaming store with everyone. It was before you were. It's before I met you, and we got into it. And I started collecting cards, but I didn't. I knew how to play it because of my uncle, but I never knew how to like. I never knew how to build a deck because in my mind it was just supposed to be one of those things where you in my mind, it was just you collect cards, you get ones that kind of do stuff together, and then that was it. Like you didn't like have to do that much. Like it was simplistic. All you had to do was like, oh, you have the bunch of green cards that all are elves. Just put all those together, and they'll probably do something.
Yeah,
Of course, that would have been like a high school, And it's just I just didn't care enough to like get into it because, like I said, I was never into like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic until like high school when like Tyler started playing, or Tyler's had already been playing. Peach had been collecting cards for like eons at that point, and then one of my first decks I think was what was it? I think it was an Elvish deck. I think because we did a game mode called Emperor. Getting through the story quickly, so that was like
hmm,
my first time playing it, and then Peach made me a deck that was just like it had it wasn't Atlas, but it was a card similar to Atlas. It was like the Holder of the World, and it was a plain legendary creature or something. And so I made a deck. She made me a deck based around that. But like my first official deck is that ally deck that you have fought, Roy. That is like really hard to beat,
yeah.
and
Fuck
that was
ally
made
decks
by
by the way. Oh, not ally
and that
decks,
was
but light game
the
decks.
person the person at that store actually built it for me.
Oh, I gotcha.
And he had built everyone a deck, which I think some people have cannibalized theirs and used it for other sets. I think Tyler doesn't have his anymore. I think I doubt Chad has his. I think he also cannibalized his. Peach upgraded hers, but she said she doesn't know where it is anymore. So I'm one of the few people with the original deck that I've like upgraded like one or two cards in to make it
Oh,
like run a little bit better.
I've overhauled my first deck I ever had. I started with one like Sandra Planeswalker, and I think I have like 6 to 7 different Sandra Planeswalkers in it now. Which is crazy.
Yeah. I just haven't added too much to mine just because it's like I don't want to break it. And unclean the more cards you add, the harder it is to get that synergy of early game like stuff or like later game stuff, depending on how your deck works. Which my the ally deck is an early game kind of killer because all the cards are low cost, and they boost each other up every time a card comes out. So
Oh yeah,
if the more cards you add, the harder it gets to do that early game killer, and then you become late game, and that becomes a problem.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just never got into other card games. I guess it's like I played a little bit of Pokemon. Peach actually taught me Pokemon, but
I
Not
think
at
Gabe
that
taught me
standard. I mean, that was
Pokemon.
like a year ago.
I think Gabe actually taught me Pokemon, and I forgot. Literally, I forget. I used to have a deck around here somewhere. No, but Yu-Gi-Oh though, I remember with Yu-Gi-Oh, like I learned like a while back. Like I learned back in, I think I learned that back in middle school, maybe even like elementary school. I learned at least basic Yu-Gi-Oh. I when do you think you started, CJ? Like in like learning how to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
I learned Yu-Gi-Oh 2010,
Nice.
and I was and it was legit me, my both of my brothers. Um, basically we sat down and usually we have in every like structure deck or preset deck there's usually a Yu-Gi-Oh manual that will
Yeah.
explain how to play the game. My dad will like he'll see us like look through this manual, and then my dad will actually snatch it away from us and throw it in the trash. Like, let me show you guys how I play it, and
Which is fair, I'll
and
say.
like because he basically said, "Hey, this is how it starts. I'm going to build you guys these decks. I'm going to help you guys build these decks,
Yeah.
and we're gonna face each other. More cards we get, more decks that we could build, and more challenging everything is. Um, so and of course it's so approximately four, 14 years ago, I was playing freaking Yu-Gi-Oh like it was nothing.
Mhm.
And actually, some of those cards that's in those boxes that I said before,
Yeah.
some of those cards are actually those original cards that my dad showed us.
Nice. I mean, that's pretty sick. You would keep a hold of a lot of those old cards.
I mean, it's redundant. Like it's amazing how time flies and how
Oh yeah.
many games I've lost and how many games I actually won. And this is actually a really cool story. So my dad had a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and it was basically a synchro deck, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like at the time it was like overpowered. It was before they released, I believe, the Stardust Dragon stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like Junk Destroyer, Colossus, and all these Yu-Gi-Oh cards. My dad will literally said, "Hey," and we used to live up in Weston, and we had this big, huge road from our house
Mhm.
to up this little like hill type thing, and there's a stop sign. And my dad said, if you could run to the vehicle, to our I think it was our Jeep, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, if you run from there, touch and go up the hill, touch the stop sign, and run back and slap the car, you win the deck. So in my theory, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna test it out. I decided to practice a little bit because I haven't ran in a good while, and so I was trying to get my movement back. Soon as my dad was like, "Okay, it's time to go in," I put my shoes on backwards.
Mhm.
So my right foot shoe was on my left foot, and my left foot shoe was on my right foot. I know it's kind of unorthodox, okay?
Yeah.
And of course I was the youngest, so literally my dad was okay. I'm gonna give you 15-minute head start, not 15 minute, but 50-second head start.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's do this. And he goes, CJ, go. Legit 15 minutes later, I'm legit already at the hill. I was that fast. And I would literally go up, touch the stop sign. And I'm not talking about the handle. You have to literally touch the sign of the stop sign. So I
Oh,
touched it. As soon as I ran back, I already see Bobby and Chris running, and they see me just like pass by like it's nothing, and I slapped that car, and I finally got that deck because that deck was so good.
damn.
So that was the story of basically my first dub was basically me getting a deck from running,
Hey.
and and I vividly remember like literally a week before, like a couple weeks before that, at my elementary school, I beat the school's record of the pacer run because their record was like I think it was like 35 or 45, maybe 50. I times that by two, so so literally like the record that I broke was literally 50, and kept going, and I stopped at 100, and I got the record.
Damn, man. That's crazy. I mean,
I was very fast. I was a runner and all that stuff. In and when you come to see me and you see like my calf, why is my calf so big? It's all the times that I've been running.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's my story of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I gotcha. I mean, hey, it's a cool story. Oh, but I guess to say like move on to like say like, move on like back into the childhood stuff again for like these two kind of childhood stuff.
Yeah,
Were you guys more of a Disney, Nickelodeon, or like Cartoon Network kid? I was more of a Cartoon Network kid personally.
there's this is where the beginnings of how I started. At the time, uh, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network was never on. At where I lived at, there was no Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network available.
Uh,
It's but in in this is kind of crazy. So you know the CW I think it's the CW channel
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
where
I know CW with like Arrow and all that shit.
reality TV
Yeah.
basically. I was there when cartoons was played always in the weekend. So religiously, me and my brothers would wake up at 5 in the morning, possibly 6 in the morning. Okay, and as soon as we turn on, I'll be the first one up, and I would literally go to the channel, and the first thing we'll actually play was Sonic X. Sonic X was pretty good. It was like 4 episodes, and then it was like two or three like commercials, and these were not short. These were long commercials, and
Cool.
then during the second commercial, both of my brothers will wake up, go straight to the living room, watch the final. I will watch the final commercial. They'll come back with like I think like a cup of tea or whatever, and the original Yu-Gi-Oh will pop on in 6 straight episodes. will play.
Huh.
And then all suddenly it will go to the news channel, like news will pop up, and then reality TV show. So that's how we did religiously for good straight years. And what's really funny is this kind of tells you how old I truly am. Is Hulu wasn't what it was popular, but it wasn't that like popular. But Hulu was the very first ever live. It was a live stream. It was basically your very first ever subscription based website that you could watch everything.
Oh yeah, because there was like that. Well, I think Netflix came a little bit first, but yeah, it was like a Hulu and Netflix basically.
Okay, Netflix came out a little bit later, about like a couple months later. Netflix, however, this is how crazy it was. Netflix, when they started, it was only a free trial. It was a free trial, and that was it.
Yeah, it started streaming like they started their subscription thing back in 2007 or 2007.
And well, uh, what happened was, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, they want Hulu wants to partner up with both of them.
They actually started at the same time. That's crazy.
And in one of the news things, it was actually that.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Oh
So,
yeah. Well, of course you got now with you got like Max, like HBO Max, and you got like Paramount Plus and all that. Those are like where it's like you got the main hubs are like Cartoon Network, which is on Max, and then Nickelodeon's on Nickelodeon's on Paramount
right.
On
Plus.
Paramount.
Yeah.
And then Disney's on, of course, Disney.
Yeah. Well, not a year back, Hayden. Did were you a Disney kid, Nickelodeon kid, or Cartoon Network kid? By the way.
Oh, I had the question. I was just listening peacefully, letting the conversation go. Um, I I lean more towards I was a Nick kid slash Cartoon Network kid because it's like I was pulling up a list and like just comparing like all the shows I watched, and it's like there were so many like Nickelodeon shows I remember like Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Rocket Power, I, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron. It's just there were so many shows, but then and of course the show that you brought up at the beginning, Avatar's on there.
I guess I kind of was a mix too. I mean, I think I was more of a Cartoon Network kid because I prefer Cartoon Network, but at the same time,
But
I
then
watched a lot of their shows too.
But then it's like Cartoon Network, Samurai Jack, um,
Ed, Ed and
Codenames Kid
Eddie.
Next Door, Billy and Mandy, Ed and Eddie, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Camp Lazlo,
Yeah.
Ben 10, like Chowder, like just like looking at the list, there's like so many shows that I recognize, but then it's like, okay, well let me go back to Nickelodeon. Oh, Invader Zim, Planet Sheen. That was a
Yeah.
big show back in the day. Planet Sheen.
Ugh. Ew.
And
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know,
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, not that one, but like I like Teenage Mutant Turtles.
Rugrats was my shit. Like Rugrats, if I had to pick like a
Rugrats
show,
was good.
like an old classic show that I like, Rugrats.
Oh, I
Like
like-
I don't
I
know
like
what it
Cat
was.
Dog.
There was just something about it that I like loved.
I love Cat Dog a lot.
Of course, it's like stuff that's still like running now. You know, SpongeBob SquarePants. You know, Transformers is on a Nickelodeon.
I'm not gonna explain about it. I'm not gonna explain about it because that is very controversial, and I'm not gonna do it.
I mean, and then it's like, of course, you have like Teen Titans Go. As much as people hate on it, it's like Teen Titans
Teen
Go,
Titans, yeah, Teen Titans.
Adventure, The Amazing World of Gumball.
Well, people don't shit on Amazing World Gumball.
Oh.
A lot of people like Amazing World Gumball.
Oh, Adventure Time, regular stuff, Steven Universe, Tom and
Yeah.
Jerry. All the Scooby Doo's is on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like, it's not saying that anything was wrong with like Disney.
Oh,
you
no,
know?
not all Scooby Doo's.
Yeah. And then it's like there's nothing wrong with Disney, you know, like because you look through the library and it's just like there's so many like child sitcom. Is it child sitcoms?
Yeah, it's like child
Or like
sitcoms.
teenage sitcoms, where it's not just the normal
No,
sitcom where
it's
you
like Hannah
get
Montana.
yeah, Hannah Montana, Zoe. No, Zoe one's on the wrong. I don't
That's
know why that's in
Nickelodeon.
my head. Jesse, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Then you get like Gravity Falls and shit like that, where it's just like really good.
Was Gravity Falls on Disney?
It was like Disney XD, yeah.
Oh, you're right. I think yeah.
Well, because they were more, I would say like where it's like that, where like in my opinion, Disney comes into more of like childhood movies, to where I more relate to Disney with like Disney movies like Emperor's New Groove and like all those kind of like Monsters Inc. and shit.
Oh, the Stitch
Okay.
Show. The Stitch Show.
Stitch Show was good.
That one, I remember that one. I don't know what even happened in the show. I just know it had the other experiments, and I always thought there was something so
It was,
interesting with that
it was
concept.
just them hunting down the other experiments and trying to capture them. It was basically just like the Monster of the Week kind of like Ben 10 flavor thing, whatever.
Hmm. Like I said, I thought it was good. I mean,
That was good.
there's good stuff on Disney. I remember, it's like I was older, but it's occasionally I would like see stuff on there where you would see like Handy Mandy and stuff like that, where it was just like mindless. It was, in my opinion, mindless kid entertainment. There was just something like, oh, hey, this is cool to watch. I'll watch this for a few.
Yeah.
And it's like, hell, it's like nowadays. It's like I know my nephew watches like Spidey and his friends on Disney Plus and stuff like that, and it's like it's quality kid entertainment. It's like.
Oh my god, that kind of harkens me back a little bit there. Just thinking about like I don't watch that, but like the old like '90s Spider-Man TV show that was like on Disney XD for a
Oh
while, and
my
then
god,
that was like
yeah.
so good. And like
I
Spectacular
mean,
Spider-Man.
don't even. We're not even gonna talk about all the Disney movies, like the Disney Channel movies. You know,
No wait,
because
Um.
that's its own ballpark. Like Nickelodeon, there's movies from that. You have the Rugrats movie, the Rugrats Go
Yeah.
Wild. You
Yeah.
have um
I would
other
go.
stuff on other channels and stuff.
I would like the only thing like a lot of like Disney OG movies, like original movies, like they were only like played on Disney Channel. It was like I just remember like waking up like in a cold sweat and like at 3 a.m. just waking up and just like one of those movies we playing. I'm just like, what is happening? I was like a kid. I was like, what is happening?
Speaking
Talking
about,
about real quick, talking about waking up at 3 a.m. Did any of you ever just wake up at 3 a.m. to just George Lopez like show playing, and you're just like
oh
watching the
my god.
opening
Of
because
course.
Okay.
somehow you woke up during the open, not during the episode, but during the opening, and you're just staring at it like,
It's
what's
the
happening?
low
Where
rider
am I?
thing.
Oh, trust me. That gave me the heebie-jeebies when I was a kid, man.
Oh,
That.
I woke up. I was like, hell yeah, George Lopez.
I would wake up and I'd be like, "What the hell is happening? What is this show?" That's the only reason I know about it is I watched like at one point I woke up at like 3 a.m. Was at my dad's house and I was watching it. I'm like, "Bro, I'm just staying up. I'm gonna figure out what this show's about." And I remember watching like 5 episodes in a row, and I just remember like, "Okay, this is a quality show. This is a quality show. Never gonna watch it again because apparently it only comes on at 3 a.m."
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's because Nick at Night.
And
Hmm.
speaking of childhood movies, I have a list full of some of the childhood movies I've watched.
Okay,
Um,
let's go.
would you guys like me to say these?
Sure,
These
you
How
can
big
go
is
movies.
the
on.
list? How big is the list first?
It's not that big. It's not that big.
I will say I'll say time mark. We are at 48 minutes. I'll say.
I'll say
Okay.
do a top 10, and I'll give my top 10 movies from my, not top 10, but just give like 10 from each other that you remember watching, and I'll do the same.
Oh yeah, then we can go down the list like CJ starts and then you can go
Oh,
ahead and I'll go.
okay.
I'll go last.
Oh yeah, we can do that. We can take turns.
CJ's a guest, so he goes
Okay.
first.
So I go first.
Yeah, you're a guest. You go first.
Okay, so just to let you know, on this top 10, there is a trilogy of movies.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
so be prepared. Cars, Jurassic Park trilogy, Bambi
Nice.
2,
Nice.
Happy Feet,
Well, hold on.
Twist.
Why Bambi 2 specifically?
That's a
Okay,
good
so
one.
so so back in the day, my we did not own the first Bambi. We only had Bambi 2. it was so hard to find Bambi 1 because of how popular it was. It was kept on getting sold out, sold out, sold out. It was to the point when Bambi 2 hit, we legit had to literally be there early to get the movie. So
Yeah.
my parents knew about Bambi 1 because for some reason they know how it played out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bambi 2, I endure it. I love it. Let's see
Um,
here. That was,
one fun fact about Bambi 2. Fun fact: Bambi 2 is the longest between Bambi 1 and Bambi 2. It is the longest time between a movie and its sequel, like 40 years. It is the longest time between a movie and then its sequel.
yes.
It's Bambi 1 and Bambi 2. It is the longest time in between two movies, like sequel wise.
Yeah.
I just thought
Okay.
that was a crazy fact when I learned about it, because it's just like, of course it's like it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, of course it's the straight to DVD Bambi 2 that is the longest sequel, or the longest like in between time sequel.
So, are we doing 10 or are we doing 5?
I can do 10.
Okay. Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom.
That's a solid movie. Solid movie. Better than Crystal
Oh,
Skull.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Base movies. Base movies. I'll say.
Harry Potter, Be Pacific, the very first one.
It's pretty good.
Transformers, the very first one, to be Pacific,
Mm-hmm.
and the original Batman movie series.
That's good. That's pretty good movies. Not gonna lie. Like
The,
that. Like the
that
ones from
is my
like
What
early two.
specific Batman? What specific one?
All right, so Be Pacific. I'm talking about the original Batman movie that was like a while ago, and
Was it the one with like Damian
then you
Wayne in
got
it?
yeah,
Oh, those are good. Those are
it,
good.
it had like the original actor.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin Conroy. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then you got the Penguin one, which I still don't remember the name of the freaking Batman one.
Huh?
Uh, one that has the Penguin, Mr. Penguin.
Oh,
I try to figure it out, but in top of my head, I don't remember.
is it animated or live action?
Live action.
It's
Are you
Batman
talking about
Returns.
Batman Returns
Yeah, it's Batman
with
Returns. Danny
Danny
DeVito.
DeVito?
Yeah, Danny DeVito Penguin.
Okay, so
That's
yeah,
Michael Keaton. Is it Michael Keaton Batman?
I think so.
Oh, Michael
Okay.
Keaton. Yeah, yeah. That's a good Batman. I'm not gonna lie. Michael
Um,
Keaton Batman's pretty
then
good.
then I and then it was Batman uh Batman Returns.
Batman Returns is good.
No, not Returns. Forever.
Oh, Batman Forever's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Those three. So
Solid.
that's my 10 that I have
Pretty solid
on the
list.
list,
Pretty solid list. I'll
and
say.
I
So go ahead.
I still got more.
You can go ahead. You want to? If you want to name off a couple more, you can. You can go ahead.
Okay, I'm just marking down these things before I messed up.
No, you're fine.
Okay, Toy Story trilogy.
It's a pretty good movie.
That means Toy Story 1, 2, and 3.
Are we just doing like top movies that we like? Or are we doing childhood still?
You can.
Childhood.
Yeah, childhood.
Okay.
This is all childhood. Just to let you know.
Well, you gotta think.
Polar
CJ is younger than us, so you gotta think about that, Hayden.
I'm
Yes,
sorry. I'm a
yes,
boomer.
it's okay. Polar Express,
Polar Express. That's a good one.
Monsters Inc.,
Monsters Inc. Pretty good.
Nightmare Before Christmas, The Grinch.
Ooh, that's good. French is good. I like that.
Now, I'm not talking about the Jim Carrey one. I'm talking
Oh,
about the other one.
Going
Because I
back to
only
toys. Oh, sorry. Finish what you're saying, and I'll say my thing.
um Bad Boys 1 and 2, Lethal Weapon 4,
nice.
Pirates of the Caribbean, the very first one, and Emperor's New Groove. That is literally straight down. Any
Base.
questions about the movies?
I'd say Bad Boys. Isn't Bad Boys the one with Will Smith in it?
Will Smith and yeah.
That's a pretty good movie. Didn't they make a new one recently?
Not
They're going to
recently, but I think there was one like within the last 5 years.
Oh, I got you.
yes. And they are currently trailers already been released for another one. That's coming out.
I will
year.
say about Toy Story 3. For some reason, I thought it came out when I was like 15 or 16, so that's why I was like, are we going with like childhood? Toy Story 3 came out in 2010.
Well,
so I was like 10 when this came out.
well,
So it's like, I
did
was
you
still
hear-
a child.
Well, did you hear what I said earlier about like the fourth Shrek movie and Halo Reach?
Yeah, he's weird. We're just
I
getting
thought
old.
I thought I played Halo Reach before Shrek 4 came out, but it came out after Shrek 4 did.
No, apparently, yeah. Apparently, it's just we're just old.
2003, not 2000, but Toy Story 3. I was literally 7 years old,
Yeah.
so it's my childhood.
Well, it's still
of
in my
course.
childhood, technically. I just thought it was like way more recent. And maybe I'm just thinking Toy Story 4, but I feel like even Toy Story 4 is like old.
Right.
2019, maybe that's why. It's a 9-year time difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to keep going?
What do you think, Hayden? You want me to keep going, or when were you wanting to go, Hayden, for yours?
I can go now. I can name a few.
Go ahead.
I don't really remember the premise of this movie. I just remember liking it a lot, and that's Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy's really good. That has Chris Farley in it. It's probably one of my favorite movies. Not
And
childhood.
David Spade.
David Spade, and the fucking Chris Farley.
That movie is a classic, and I'm surprised I did not write that down because that movie was part of my childhood as well. But
the only scene I remember from that movie is it's the scene where they're at the gas station and he tears the doors off the car by accident, like the car's just falling apart.
oh yeah,
And then it's the other scene where they're inside, like they're at some guy's office and they're talking to him, and they're driving around a car and he sets the car on fire. It's like a little like toy car. He sets it on fire and he's like recreating a crash the whole time.
I wish you knew my dad when he was younger. Like my dad was a lot like Chris Farley, and I'm not even lying.
I feel like your dad's still like Chris Farley.
He kind of is.
You talk like your dad hasn't changed. Your dad's like, I feel like the same person he probably was. Other than that, he probably aged a little bit.
No, you're right. Yeah, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
You're like, oh yeah, back when my dad was like young, he was different, and it's just like it was the same person from what I've at least met. Some other movies, I mean.
Oh, I already got my list. Whenever you're done.
I mean, I like the Rugrats movie. The Rugrats movie is one of my favorite movies. I never had it on VHS. It was one of those movies, similar to CJ not being able to get a hold of the Bambi movie. It just I literally could never get my hands on the Rugrats, the original Rugrats movie.
Oh,
I only saw it once, and it was like my favorite for the longest time because it was like I can't watch it again, but there was something about it that I loved, and I never could watch it again because I didn't have it, and
movie night,
streaming services didn't exist.
I have it on DVD. Movie night.
Movie night, binge watch all of them.
It'd be funny.
Rugrats Go to Paris, Rugrats Go Wild. I think that's the only movies. Oh, and then there's the
I forgot about the Wild Thornberries.
That was actually my introduction to Wild Thornberries. Weirdly enough, even though my sister was a fan of the Wild Thornberries, I guess I just never watched it with them. Or maybe it's because it's like that weird sibling thing, which like, oh, that's what my sister watches. I can't watch that.
I never had that with my sister.
I didn't. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying. I don't think me and my sister ever had that. Like, kind of like where me and my sister have always kind of like shared the same kind of like for the same stuff in a way.
I feel like it was later shows, you know. Like I remember watching Powerpuff Girls with her. There's a couple of shows I clearly remember watching with her because what my sister would do is she would get a laundry basket and put like a pillow and a blanket in it, and then she would get in it not force me to get in, but then tell me to get in, and then she'd have my mom push it into the living room and sit it in front of the TV, and we would just sit in a laundry basket and like watch movies and shows, which is where I watched Powerpuff Girls, that was a good show. trying to remember I'm trying to think of some other movies. Like, like they just kind of all left my head. Like, because a couple of them I haven't watched in so long.
Yeah.
Of course, Toy Story. Like, I like the Toy Stories. I mean, they were of course coming out. Other than me having that lapse about Toy Story 3 coming out in 2010, me thinking it came out later. It's like Toy Story trilogy. Agreeing with CJ. It's like that was one. It's like one of the best trilogies of like animated movies. Of that time.
Yes, and what's really funny, I have a story about Toy Story. I remember my brother Chris. He had a haircut, and he looked like the bully of the first Toy Story.
Are you
And
talking
dude,
about Sid?
yes, he
I think I've
literally.
seen. I think I've seen a photo of him at your house, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I see it.
But he's such a nice guy, though. Chris is such a nice guy, but I remember flaming him about it, and he told me to stop because man, I love the first one. I really do.
Um, this is gonna be this. I'm gonna say this due to the fact of like how young I was probably watching it. Weirdly enough, I like the original Resident Evil movie because it's like I'd played the games really young because my mom played them. My mom was a Resident Evil fan. And like so, like I watched the first Resident Evil movie, and I just loved it. Like I loved zombies. Zombies was my thing, my personality for like a longest time. And it's like why I really got into The Walking Dead for the longest time is because it was just like zombies had stuck with me because of the original Resident Evil. Um,
Yeah, that's
going off for a second since I brought up horror movies, just going off for a second. Two movies I watched really young that scarred me for the longest time was The Hills Has Eyes because my dad let me watch that at like 2 a.m. when I was over at his house.
Same, actually, same. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He just like I don't know what it was. I like it's because I'd brought up I'd previously watched like Ghost and Evil, so I think he just thought it was like all right, which it was fine. It just at that time it was too scary for me.
Oh, wait.
Like I watch it now, and it's not that scary of a movie. The original one still has some like creepy moments in it, but it's not that scary of a movie in like hindsight. And then the other movie, weirdly enough, is the original It with Tim Curry. That scarred me. Like I it's like had a fear of clowns for the longest time because of it.
I remember kind of going off like on that. I'll let you finish your like movie thing and then I'll do mine. But I kind of got a story that was kind of similar to that. Whereas like back when Blockbuster was kind of still a thing, right? We got like my dad, two of my dad's friends came over, and they rented like a Bionicle movie for me and my friend Seth to watch.
Bionicle, real quick,
and
Bionicles, good series. Don't know why it got canceled or ended so early.
that's because
okay.
it didn't
I
sell well.
agree with that. I agree with that with heart because I grew up watching Bionicles, and the same thing with you. I do not know why they stopped releasing any episodes.
It was awesome. It just didn't sell well from what I've heard. Like it didn't sell
Yeah.
well.
What pains me is the toys are so good. The toys are so good, and they still release like the
No,
parts for like Lego sets. It's like you
that's
still
why
see the parts exist in Lego sets, and it makes you upset because you're like,
it's
just bring back the Bionicles, please.
it's the same reason why like Generator X didn't take off or it got
Oh,
canceled
yeah.
because like the toys didn't sell well. But anyways, back to what I was saying was
We'll jump back to Generator Rex here later, but continue.
yeah so me and my friend Stephanie finished watching it and they were in the middle of watching the I think it was like the second Wrong Turn movie.
Oh my god!
And
Don't
me,
tell me you watched it.
yeah, me and Seth, so we sat down and started watching it. It scared the fucking piss out of us. We were like, "What is happening?" And then my dad has
Oh
like
my
from Halloween. My dad had like this like kind of like deformed hillbilly mask. He
God.
for like work for where he does like construction stuff. He has like this thing. It's called like a it's not like a pickaxe. I forget what it's called. I know what it is. But it's like when you like you got to clear off like the area where you can like lay blocks at, like if it rains or gets mud on it and stuff like that, and you gotta use it like to dig up the area a little bit.
Uh-huh.
We were like walking out. It was like 9 o'clock. We were walking to take Seth home because Seth kind of got scared. He wanted to go home. I was gonna drive with him, and my dad left out through our like other door he put the mask on and got like the pickaxe looking thing, and then like jumped in front of us and screamed at us, and we fucking like pissed. We fucking we didn't piss ourselves, but we fucking like screamed and ran. We ran back inside the house, and he was fucking dying laughing. And his friends were dying laughing, and it was like, you motherfucker.
God. That's cool.
It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah, that is really funny, though. That is really funny.
Yeah, that is real funny because I would not imagine my dad actually doing that. Actually, I would, because he would probably do the exact same thing.
Oh,
Mhm.
so
But
going
it'll
off,
be Michael Myers or Freddy. It would be creepy as shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
going off topic slightly, going to video games for a second. So I had this game. It was a point and click horror game called Clock Tower. It's the second one, I think. Even though the game itself only says Clock Tower, it's not the one everyone thinks of when you think Clock Tower. Not that old one. It's the weird like 3D one. I don't know how to describe it. It's I think the second one.
No, I gotcha.
Because when I explain this, it's like everyone thinks of the first one, but it's the like second one that follows Jennifer later. But getting to the point,
Yeah.
I used to play that game a lot because it was one of my favorite like little horror games because it was easy to play. Like Resident Evil was somewhat hard for me because I didn't understand item management and stuff like that. So something like Clock Tower, you just run away. It was a lot easier. So my uncle used to come over a lot, and like when my cousins would over, he would come over and like play video games with us and do stuff with us. Well, one day we were playing like hide and seek, and um, I had like kind of like, oh yeah, I kind of want to like, it's kind of like Clock Tower, like we're running from you, like you're like we're all hiding, and then you come and find us. And upstairs, I have like a little attic crawl space. I think you've seen it, Roy.
Mhm.
He got in there, which mind you, it's filled with stuff, so like no one can normally get in there. And you know how big he is. He's like 6'7". He hides in there. We all come up the stairs. I think we're looking for him. I may have had it opposite. We were looking for him, maybe.
Yeah.
And we come upstairs. He jumps out of there, and I just, for the longest time, probably until I was probably getting into high school. Weirdly enough, like as weird as it is to admit, it's like up until probably high school, I was anytime I passed that hallway, like I was just like, well, someone can fit in there. There's probably someone hiding in there.
No, yeah, it's definitely like it could leave a kind of like a thing on you where it's like it's even though like, it was like like a harmless little prank, but it could still be like shake you after a little bit.
So it was just and it's and I think it was the fact he was so big. He's like 6'7", jumps out of there. And so for the longest time, I could not. Anytime I had passed by there, like I would either have to like, I would either run past it real quick, and it's only like you see where it's at in my house. It's like you just quickly can pass it, not a problem. But it was just the fact that it's constantly open. So it was just like, oh god, I'm watching and I'm watching, and into my room. But
I gotcha. I
yeah.
gotcha.
And going back to the movies for a second, there's a lot of movies. I mean, Ratatouille, World War Z was one of my movie I really liked. I only watched bits and pieces of it because it's like I was still young, so like parts of it scared me.
Mhm.
But I remember liking it.
I gotcha.
Lion King,
Good
best
movie.
series ever.
Uh,
Going on a similar vein to what CJ said about watching sometimes sequels, I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but there is a sequel to it's one of the sequels to one of the Disney movies that I remember more than I do the original one, and I cannot remember it off the top of my head like for the life of me.
Mhm.
No, you know what it was? I remember the original Lion King, but I watched Lion King 2, the one with Kovu in it.
Yeah.
Like that was like my favorite one. Like I liked it more than the original one, even though that's probably like a really weird take. It's just I liked it for some reason. I just liked them it better. I like the songs more, and
Yeah.
that was just like that was my go-to one. And then it's like well, so the first one would then be your favorite next, right? If that's out of the like all the movies, no, it'd be like Lion King 1.5 that had like Timon and Pumbaa's story in it.
Yeah. I
What
gotcha.
about yours, though? Going off my
Um,
random movies, what about yours?
Oh, I got a little bit. I got like, at least a cumulative 10. So I know for me, like I really loved me and my sister really loved like that movie, the Bridge to Terabithia. You guys ever watched that before? That's a really good movie. Of course you got
That
like
movie's depressing.
Kung Fu Panda was definitely one of my tops for sure. I love the
What's your
OG.
favorite?
Huh?
uh,
Kung Fu Panda. Oh, Kung
What's
Fu
your
Panda
favorite film?
2.
Number 2. I
2 was really
respect
good.
that.
2 was really good. I thought it was really. The first one was really good, but I like the deeper dive into post story into it than what the first one had.
I agree. I agree.
Uh,
Yeah.
the first live action Scooby Doo movie. That movie was one of my most favorites.
I
I
almost
was
said that. I didn't. I
gonna
didn't
give
say
me-
because I was
I
like,
was gonna
I liked
do-
it, but it wasn't like up there, up there.
Oh, I loved it.
But it's like I agree with you though. It is the
I
is it Spooky
That
Island's
was a
the original one, right?
certified hood classic. That's a certified hood classic because the first one and the second one was completely good. And
Oh yeah.
later on, when I got older, it turns out in the first one where Shaggy and Scooby Doo was in the machine and like instead of cooking, they actually was supposed to smoke weed, and
Yeah.
the director was like, "No, we cannot do that." Like
Apparently,
it was so. I was like, man, if they smoked weed, what would Scooby be like if he smoked weed?
it'd be crazy.
I wouldn't be like,
Oh yeah, it would be really crazy. It would really, it'd be funny as fuck to see. Um,
yeah.
But the first one is Spooky Island, right? And then the second one's Monsters Unleashed.
yeah, Monsters Unleashed was really funny. I like that one a lot. Oh,
Oh, going off Bridge of Terabithia because you just reminded me something.
Spiderwick Chronicles.
What?
Spiderwick Chronicles.
No,
Oh, okay. Damn.
better than that, like 10 times better. It's that one board game movie. I think it's like
Jumanji. Oh,
No.
Zathar.
Zathar, yeah.
It's like something like that. It's where it has the young what's his name in it from that meme. He plays Michael in the new for
Oh,
the FNAF movie.
it's Zathora, and it
Zathura.
that you're the person you're referring to is.
He's also in Bridge of Terabithia.
That's why I brought it up.
I forgot. That's crazy.
I was able to connect it in my. I was able to connect
How
it because
ironic.
the actor. I forget the actor's name now. I tried to.
How
Oh my god! 'Cause
you know
he's
what's
in the
ironic?
Hunger Games as well. What the hell is his name?
Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson. Okay.
You know what's really crazy thing about like on my list? Like I have OG Scooby Doo movie, which has Matthew Lillard in it, which he also played in Scream and other movies like that. But I also have Bridge of Terabithia, which has Josh Hutcherson in it, which they kind of come together later. And they played in the FNAF movie, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Which in turn, you could argue, is a childhood thing right there because of FNAF.
Yeah, I guess you could. Oh, El Dorado and the Prince of Egypt, and Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet was really good. I like that one a lot too.
Oh my god, Treasure Planet.
Ooh, Karate Kid. All time favorite childhood movie, Karate Kid. Sorry, go ahead.
I still think Atlantis is better than Treasure Planet, the original Atlantis.
Oh, Atlantis is good, yeah. I like
Animated.
Atlantis a lot.
But you just remind me. There's like so many movies coming back to me now. X-Men, the original X-Men,
Movie,
2000s
yeah.
X-Men, like those are good. Oh my god, stuff's coming back to me now. Like so
Sinbad.
many things.
Shark Boy, Lava Girl.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay? So I'll get a lot. I probably won't get flack for this, but I'll definitely get a lot. Like, just kind of a weird take. I really enjoyed Shark Tales, like Shark Tale with Will Smith and Jack Black.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I love
That
I
movie.
love that movie. I
It's
love
so
that movie
silly.
too because I used to we used to own that movie and I would watch it probably every single day during the summer. And it's such a good feel good movie. It's
Oh,
similar
definitely is.
to the movie Rio with the bird.
Oh yeah.
That movie, both of them, like during the summer, was just incredible. Me drinking like Kool-Aid jammers and all that stuff. It
Yeah.
was great. Oh my goodness, I love Shark Tale. That brought me so many memories.
Um. Oh, Shark Tales, yeah, definitely up there. Sky High. I don't get. You guys watched Sky High before?
Why does that sound
Yeah,
familiar?
I watched
It's
Sky
like
High.
it's like a superhero. It's like kind
It's
of
the
like
it's the live action My Hero Academia.
You shut your fucking whore mouth. don't you dare slander Sky High with that shitty anime.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Sky High is like a masterpiece. You know,
It is. It's god tier.
we could have had like 20 movies off that. We could have had the MCU before the MCU back then.
It was awesome. It was. I will admit, it's not the best movie, but it's just it's from my childhood. It's so nostalgic for me that I watched it. Like I actually watched it the other day. I was like, this is kind of weird. It's a weird movie. Ooh, Night at the Museum.
Oh my god,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
That movie's really
that
good.
movie was so good. I'm glad that you're bringing back me and Child. The main reason why I'm happy about it because I remember watching it at night. Try watching it at night. You'll be like wondering, is there dinosaurs in your backyard?
Yeah,
It, it's such a good movie.
it
Oh my
really is.
goodness. I remember watching the first one, loved it. Watch the second one, it was okay.
This is. Second was pretty. Yeah, I like
Oh,
the second. I thought the second was pretty alright. I like the really with the DC. The third one was pretty okay, I guess, as well. The first one will always be my favorite though. I'll say. First one was definitely forever favorite from that series. I'm looking at my list here.
so
Well, of course, New Groove. I had New Groove on my list. That's a really good movie, of course, as well.
Oh, I have to bring out. I have to. Can I bring out a couple TV shows
Can I say
that we didn't bring up?
can I say one movie real quick?
Yeah,
One
say
more.
it. Sorry.
Sandlot, the baseball movie. I love that movie.
Oh
oh,
yeah.
that's
Okay. Yeah.
actually on my list
That's a good
because
movie.
I grew up watching Sandlot. Fun fact on when I was and this is a good story. I used to watch Sandlot so much, but
Hmm.
you know how in the CD the plastic ring to make it read the disc.
Yeah.
I watched it so much that it would start peeling off. It was
Damn.
yeah, because that movie was so inspirational, and I freaking love that movie. God, that means I have to mark out that movie.
There's
Oh
some movies
my
off.
god.
But what were the shows you wanted to bring up, Hayden?
Uh, just to name off a few. Cup one or two of these is gonna be kind of like you. Yeah, you shouldn't have been watching type stuff. You know.
Well, I watched a lot.
But I'm gonna go with
I
the
watched Beavis
normal
and
ones.
Bud. My dad let me watch Beavis and Bud when I was like fucking 5 or 4. So I think he's alright. Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
go with a few. Chowder, love that show.
Alright, that one's fine. You
And
brought Chowder earlier, I think.
Danny Phantom. Did I? I didn't think I did.
Becky Dan Phantom's good. That's a good one. I love Danny Phantom.
Now getting to the controversial ones. Aqua Team Hunger Force or Team
Oh, that's
Hunger
so
Force,
good. I
and
love Shake and Meatwad and fucking Fry. Fry is so good.
yeah, and Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken's really good. Oh my god. I love the Star Wars. I love the Star Wars ones of Robot Chicken. I actually think we brought.
Yeah,
I think we brought Robot Chicken in the first episode. I think because I
it
think the first
probably was.
episode because I know Greg said in the first episode that like one of those like shows that he was like watched that was like kind of like he got in trouble for watching with South Park, and I was like, oh, I feel that, but mine was kind of Robot Chicken because my mom was like, what in the hell are you watching? And I was like,
See,
oh,
I
this
just
is real Star
happened.
Wars.
Yeah, so I just happened to be just catch like at my dad's house. It was just one of those things. Like my brother would be asleep, like everyone would be asleep. I'd wake up at like 3 a.m. because it just I wasn't used to sleeping there that often, and so like I would just wake up at 3 a.m. and like watch stuff. So it's like I watched a decent amount of Robot Chicken, and I just always thought it was funny. But then it was like it was very like mature for what like it was very mature, you
It's an
know.
Adult Swim show. It's like along
Yeah,
the
I
lines of
know.
like Super Jail and Squidbillies and all that.
Yeah. And then I think the one that I remember watching the most of though was Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Like I couldn't name you stuff now. I couldn't like name an episode. I couldn't name certain stuff. But like there was just random stuff that's like I remember from the show that it's just like with no context you'd be like, what the hell?
Oh my gosh! If you ever want to watch a show that's kind of like that, I used to watch like when I was like like 7 or 8 or maybe 9 when it was like it come on Adult Swim was called Xavier Renegade Angel. If you ever wanted a show to see that's like what did I just watch, is you gotta watch that. That is like the magnum
Sounds
opus.
familiar. I don't think I've watched it, but it sounds familiar.
I can send you a gift real quick.
Okay, yeah, send me it real quick. Hold on.
I'll put it in the server actually, the
Okay.
podcast server.
I-
Since CJ has seen it as well. It is the most. It is fucked up. It is a fucked up show. Not like bad, but it's like you should not.
Oh my god, if we're talking about messed up stuff, this was on Cartoon Network, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm mistaken about this. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about now, yeah. But talking about, was it Mr. Meaty?
Mr. Meany was pretty funny. I like that show.
That one was just weird. Nothing bad in it, but it was just weird.
Yeah.
I do have some childhood shows as well that I never mentioned.
Brian, go ahead. If you want to.
All right. So let's start off with of course you got all the Yu-Gi-Oh, Avatar, but I'm gonna go out that route to reality TV shows actually.
Okay.
Maury, Steve Wilkos show,
Nice.
and then Mythbusters,
Mythbusters good.
um, Dirty Jobs.
Dirty Jobs, yeah. Fucking, I love Dirty Jobs. That's such a good
Like
show.
you can't because I grew up watching. You have to think I grew up like a lot, so those things. But there's one TV show, and it's a anime. It's not anime, but it's a cartoon show. It used to be on the CW channel, but
What's
it
that?
got canceled. Not canceled, but it got discontinued.
What's that?
It's called Chaotic.
Chaotic.
Okay? Chaotic was a 3-year series. It came out in, if I'm not mistaken, 2008, 2009. I searched it up recently.
Oh shit! I've seen this show before. Holy shit!
Okay. I used to um watch this show when it was popping up on the CW channel. And
Mm-hmm.
it was only 2 episodes that would actually pop open. And it was like the first episode of the cartoon and the second episode of the cartoon. It was so much. Yeah, so it came out in 2006, ended in um in year 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Main reason why it was because it was not getting much of attention
Mm-hmm.
than it was supposed to be, but also it's because because Cartoon Network and Disney XD, they they bought out the company that made Chaotic,
Ah, damn.
and they aired it until 2011 and they stopped. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what's really funny, Chaotic was the first ever anime / cartoon that I fully watched.
Oh.
Okay, did I enjoy it? It was good. I used to own a Chaotic game on the PS3.
Damn.
So, real quick, if we're
Yeah,
talking about our first anime we ever watched completely, Roy, what is yours, just real quick, and then I'll tell you mine, because I've told you before, mine's like very shocking. My first anime I ever watched completely.
I'm intrigued on what Roy's gonna say on that.
Mine's kind of simple. Mine isn't like I watched a lot of anime when I was like a little kid, of course, because my dad was also really into anime. But my like very very technically first anime was Dragon Ball Z. Because my
Okay.
dad was a big Dragon Ball Z fan, so he introduced me to Dragon Ball, which it wasn't really that wild. I mean, I watched a lot. Like I watched a lot when I was a kid. Like of course I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion when I was like 6, and I probably shouldn't have done that because of how fucked
Oh
up that
yeah.
show is. And
Um.
it was crazy.
So the one I first watched completion, I would have been older because I didn't really get into anime. I wasn't one of those people that got into anime like young. I mean, I had watched anime, like movies and stuff. Like my uncle was like really
Oh, I
into
was
like was into anime, so he'd like
mhm.
shown us Studio Ghibli, and so like I'd watch like a decent amount of Studio Ghibli. Like I know what Spirit Away was, Kiki's Delivery Service,
I was the kind of kid that wore Dragon Ball Z
Princess
shirts till like
Mononoke.
fucking like third grade. I wore Goku t-shirts in third grade.
Yeah, I
Until
just
I
like
grew
I think like I said previously, it's like I just never got into like animes or like certain animes. It took me a while to get into animes. Like other than watching some Studio Ghibli stuff, it's like I never got into it. And actually, for the longest time, like there was like this early scene from Princess Mononoke that like I knew in my head, like because I had seen it before. It was one of those like moments that like just stayed in my head. And for the longest time, I didn't know where it was from until like I had bought Princess Mononoke because I wanted to do the complete set of Studio Ghibli movies. And then I
Mhm.
watched them again. And I'm like, oh god, that's like that thing that's been stuck in my head for the last like 10 years of my life.
Oh my. Okay, hold on. I actually have
Oh,
another
but
one, kind of.
well,
It's Devilman Cry,
well,
like
just
or Devilman.
oh
OG
yeah.
Devilman. I watched that when I was a little kid. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
But sorry, getting to the actual point rather than going off topic. Um, my first anime that I watched all the way through
Mhm.
was Elfen Lied.
Oh yeah.
Probably around like when I was 12 or something, maybe older, maybe younger. I don't 100% remember. And that is like a very bad show. Like as your first anime, that's like the equivalent of like not equivalent, but it's pretty close to watching Berserk or reading Berserk at a
Oh no,
young
it's like
age.
watching Berserk, watching Monster, or like watching. There was another one like Serial Experiments Lane. It's like kind of watching like that as your first anime,
Yeah.
where it's
Or
like
another thing, one of your first introductions to anime being Corpse Party,
oh, Corpse Party. I don't like Corpse Party.
like the video game, because I know the
Like,
games more than I do the show, which I
yeah.
think games came first type thing, like Danganronpa type thing. Games came first, then show.
You,
Oh
you know
yeah.
what? It's actually kind of crazy. Me thinking about it. First ever anime was chaotic.
Mhm.
Then because because soon as that got out of the air, it was the full. Then it was the second completion, which was the original Yu-Gi-Oh.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool though. That's like like I've seen K-Doc before, but I honestly forgot it existed until you brought it up. That's crazy. I will say we are currently at an hour and 27 minutes, so we probably will be wrapping up kind of soon.
I know it's because you no. Um, and w- was you guys discussing like Dragon Ball? By any chance?
I know here soon we're going to do like a topic for like a topic podcast episode for Dragon Ball just because of the passing of Akira Toriyama and stuff. But we're still deciding on whether we're going to do that because we're going to try to get all co-hosts on
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
one, on board for that one.
But yeah, it was Yu-Gi-Oh was completion. Then the third one was Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds.
Mhm.
I'm still like in shock of how it like ended. Um, Yu-Gi-Oh GX, that was an emotional train wreck in the ending.
Oh yeah.
And then and then at no, I couldn't say Avatar because I never. No, I actually did. Actually, I did. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mhm.
Um, mm, I think that was the last of me completing animes. So there you go. My last was Avatar.
I gotcha. I gotcha. It's a cool list. So I mean, from going on from the start of the podcast to end, we're getting now to the end of the podcast episode. You have had, I say, you definitely like a very good list of movies, kids, very good list of childhood movies, TV shows, and anime for sure.
For sure. And there was and I was debating if I want to actually return and watch anime again. Not because of the passing of Akira Toriyama. It's because I felt like I missed like the spark
That's
of
fair.
me watching like cartoons slash anime.
Yeah,
So
which is completely
that's
fair.
hmm and then also me making music. I really don't really have time to actually watch anime. All I can watch, listen, like technically watch is like the anime inspired songs,
Yeah.
which I studied. And of course, we could talk about music, but I'm not sure we got time.
I mean, if you want to talk a little bit about music, we can. I could say probably push it back for like another like 10 minutes or so if you want to if you did want to discuss music before ending the episode.
Sure.
Do like a little 10 minute segment of music.
Yeah, just quick 10 seconds and call it.
Sure, I'm okay with that. Um, I guess you could start off with saying like, because I know with you, of course, you're trying to start like a music career up, of course. If you were to say like, kind of like bigger inspirations like that would have like kind of put you on this path of trying to do like music, who would you say was your big kind of like your biggest inspirations that get you going on this path?
Um, Definitely my dad.
Hmm.
Um, and then as in like rappers, it would be like my top five, which is Ice Cube, NF, Eminem, um, KRS-One, and then LL Cool J, and all these older rappers took me and is a inspiration. And me watching 8 Mile as a kid, and me
Hmm.
watching 8 Mile like at least like 10 years later is
Yeah.
such a dramatic effect. Um, Music has not only inspired me but changed how I see the real world in music's respective.
Hmm. Well, I mean, hey, that's cool. I feel like you're able to find this kind of like inspiration and to kind of push on them, pursue your dreams, of course, of becoming a musician, which I think is personally really cool. Of course, because
Right.
I love seeing people pursue their dreams and do exactly what they want to do in their life. I know currently my
Mm,
friend Paul, he's making games at the current moment, like he's making games for like school project stuff, and he's hoping to like pursue that later in the future. Which I was like, that's like seeing you do that with your music career and have him do that and other people do like other art careers and stuff like that. It kind of it fills me with inspiration in a way. Like not to be cheesy, but it fills me with like kind of like inspiration. It's like, man, I'm so glad that like people are able to like push out and seek their dreams. You know what I mean?
right. And when I first started doing this whole music thing, it was all for it was before I called myself Big Homie C.
Hmm.
And when I was in high school, beginning of high school, was basically when I first introduced myself to the world of music or rap. And me and my friends, um, because at first I want to become a shoe designer, and I of course I didn't see myself doing that. I didn't see myself going to the military. I didn't see myself doing any of those things.
Yeah.
And then music, and I thought about music for a while because I grew up in Weston, in what Lewis County, West Virginia,
Yeah.
and country was the main focus that I had. There was no rap involved. Well, no, there was only for a little bit, but it was
Yeah.
mainly country. As soon as I moved here in Clarksburg, rap was the highest point.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is where the beginning of the cloud chasing and fame and mumble rappers came into about. So I decided to chase that.
Mhm.
And my friends call me Lil CJ Vert. I think most of the people knows who Lil CJ Vert is. Um, left Lil CJ Vert when I graduated. Year
Yeah.
later, TikTok made myself a TikTok account, changed my name to Darcy B King, um, which was just me doing open verse challenges and me making old school freestyles. Basically, trying to figure out where I want to go with this music. And then I thought about it, and I thought about it, and then my dad pulled me through and say, "Hey, I know you could do music, but you need to study."
Yeah.
And he literally showed me all these old rappers like Kumodi and all these rappers that started. Thus, I studied, and I was like, "Man, I could make music right now." And I went back on SoundCloud, called myself Big Homie C, released my first song called Purge,
Yeah.
and and made like 4 songs in on SoundCloud, and I haven't released a song in like a while, and it's not me not giving up or anything. It's because currently my setup is under construction,
Mhm.
and at in the end of this month, starting next month, I will be coming back again. But only this time around, my dad's gonna be right beside me. Well, he's gonna be my business manager slash producer,
Nice. Nice.
and which is a big helpful of mine. And my mom, she's another inspiration because she never thought she knew that music was a big thing. She didn't know it was that big of a deal
Yeah.
until because at her first instance, she thought basketball was my biggest thing, and it was. It was basketball was my biggest thing, and then music took over, and I'm excited, and I can't wait till get back on the mic again and be able to spit clearly and make an album that I already announced,
Yeah.
Spacebound, which is a literally a big, huge. It's not homage to Eminem.
Mhm.
Well, it is because Spacebound is my favorite Eminem song of all time.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's just that I love space. I know I sound like Markiplier when I say that, but I love space a lot. So that's also a thing. And it's also a homage to my last ever Lil CJ Vert album, which was Heaven Space. Um, and now I'm just waiting for the day that I'd be able to go on tour.
Mhm.
Which is the biggest thing. That's actually my top bucket list, and that's actually my number one goal is make it to the top.
Well, I definitely, I
And
definitely think you can do it for sure. You for sure, you got a promising career in my opinion.
I think because when I started Big Homie C, I didn't expect anybody from the little CJ birthdays and the RCB King days coming together as one. It was crazy.
Yeah,
One of my songs I have on SoundCloud has over 200 views.
nice. And we'll definitely be nice, and we'll definitely be like for sure like in the description of this video because we're about to end here soon. We will be putting, if you want to, we can definitely put in the description on like on YouTube the link to your SoundCloud and everything like that, of course, if you want.
And also, my dad's also making a business thing, a label. So if someone tries to steal my stuff, court.
I got you,
Plus
man.
that. Um, but that's how it is. I am currently not only like making songs, but I'm also making names for albums that's coming up that I am gonna be making.
Definitely can't wait to see it. Definitely can't wait to see it.
And it's a whole new chapter. I closed the past. I said, hey, I'm not talking about the past here. Present is present.
Oh yeah. Well,
And go ahead.
I'll say, well, that is cool. It's good. It's good to see that you're
Any
able to
other?
get like. Oh, I was gonna say it's good. That's cool. It's good to see that you're able to get this step in this direction and get things like a label. And you're getting like all that stuff kind of stuff so people can't steal your stuff. And you get to see that you're able like that you're actually like getting like they figure out like a true plan that you can follow for this music career
Mhm.
that you're wanting to set up.
Right, because I started with only my phone and the recording like the recording thing on SoundCloud, the app.
Hmm.
That was my first.
Yeah.
Then I then I upgraded to laptop and gaming headset.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Now it's
Getting the studio stuff set up, which is cool.
studio. And
Well,
also, my mom has been buying me stuff for the studio,
yeah.
like posters,
Nice. Nice.
and and it's only one poster. She's gonna probably gonna buy more,
Hmm.
and it's Post Malone.
That's
Um,
cool.
and Post Malone for me has been a big inspiration as well. Not only because of the man he is and what he's been through,
Hmm.
uh, his songs in general.
He released some banger songs. I'm not gonna lie to you. He released some bangers.
Like White Iverson,
Hmm.
Too Young, Broken Whiskey Glass, like all of these songs that he made from then to now has been beautiful. I know lots of people did not like the Austin album. I generally enjoy the Austin album. I think it's different, but I think it's a really good album.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
I stand by it. It's the same thing with NF. I stand by that NF is really good. Not only people thinks that he's a not only a Christian rapper is because of he's literally talking about real stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do with my music is I want to show everybody my true feelings, my story, and I'm basically want to do something different. Maybe try to get some features, maybe some inspirations. You never know. I might ask my dad to sample a Dragon Ball Z type thing.
It'd be cool. Well,
You
we all.
never
Oh, go ahead.
when there's a song with me and my dad, like there's so much things and there's so many
Oh yeah, a
opportunities.
lot.
The one thing I want to say before we call it
Hmm.
is don't give up on your dreams, because if you give up on your dreams, you're entering your nightmares.
That is true. Very inspirational. Definitely a good quote.
And also,
Hmm.
if you are looking for somebody to hold you tight, don't look at them as face value,
Yeah.
because the old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a person by its face value.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
You-
sure.
because you have to know the person by its background and how they started, or what they've been through.
Hmm. Oh,
You
for sure.
never know, because you never know if you make something the best thing ever. You never know when you're actually saving somebody's life.
It's true. It's
And
true.
that's how I'm gonna make my music. Is I'm gonna be saving lives.
Hmm.
I'm gonna make I'm gonna make my history a book, and this
I
is
gotcha.
only the start. And this
Only
is the
chapter
only
one.
introduction. This is the only introduction I
Oh yeah, yeah,
will
yeah, yeah.
start. So that being said, that is it. This is not the end. This is the
The only
beginning.
way it goes, go forward. We
It
all
only
start.
goes forward.
Oh yeah, only goes forward, man. We all start from somewhere. Well,
That's it.
I think that's where we're going to call it for this episode of the Just a Squirt podcast. Of course, thanks co-host Hayden for joining
Well,
on
one
this
more thing
episode.
that actually there's a quote
Oh, go
that
ahead.
the creator of Ruby has, and it's "Move onwards, not that you're not there yet."
That's a good quote. Definitely a good one for to keep on moving forward and things like that, or like Aaron says, keep moving forward. But anyways, no, yeah, that's a definitely good quote. But
Hmm.
I
thank you,
got
co-host. I'll try. Go ahead.
I got one more quote,
Okay, good. You can go ahead.
and it's from the artist that I listen to, Fable.
All right.
Just set your heart ablaze. That's it. Just
Yeah.
set your heart
Well,
ablaze.
that's also an anime quote as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
That is Rengoku's. That is a Rengoku quote. Set your heart ablaze.
and I stand by it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're good
I
quotes.
mean
Very
it's a
inspirational.
yeah.
Even though I never watched that anime before, but I'll still remember it.
Oh yeah,
All right.
definitely some good quotes. But yeah, like I said, this has been Roy from the hosts of the Just a Script podcast. Thank you, co-host Hayden, for joining this episode. And
Thank you for letting me be here.
no problem. And a very special thanks for a special guest, uh, CJ or Big Homie C, for joining us.
Thank you all for tuning in, and
It's no,
thank you for everything with this podcast.
it's no problem, man. Anytime. Like I said, we'll probably we'll put CJ's SoundCloud stuff in the description of the YouTube video if y'all want to check out his music and stuff like that. Definitely send some love his way from the viewers of the podcast. It'd be nice to see that. Uh, Hopefully next episode we can have more co-hosts on. But other than that, thank you two for joining, and this is just Court signing off.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.